Right now, new concerns about North Korea after the rogue nation's latest missile launch. With the move raising fears, as a foreign policy headline puts it this way, quote, North Korea is practicing for nuclear war. Joining us now, retired Lieutenant Colonel Michael Waltz, a former Special Forces officer and Fox News contributor. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Heather.
So preparing for nuclear war or practicing for nuclear war, is that overstating the danger?
I don't think it's overstating the danger at all. You know, with these missile tests that North Korea just launched, they really crossed the line from Kim Jong-un just trying to grab international headlines and pay attention to me to a serious threat. And here's why. One, I think a lot of the analysts are right that North Korea is practicing for a first strike capability, to be able to hit us before we could take him out. Two, they used to be able to, or formerly they were launching from a single site. Now they're launching from multiple sites and conducting a normal series of exercises. And then the third piece is that if you look at the ranges, these missiles are flying into the ocean, but if you actually map the ranges out, they correspond to U.S. military bases and to ports where we would bring reinforcements. And if you put all of those pieces together, I'm very concerned. At the same time, the U.S. is conducting a series of exercises with the South Koreans called Foul Eagle, and that's a first strike capability.
So if we have response to that.
That's right. Well, we have both sides now racing to who can strike who first, but with the North Koreans betting that if they can launch a nuclear strike, even tactical one, and really knock us back, that he would be able to survive.
Wow. So
it's something we should all be worried about.
Yeah, a case of who blinks first. Well, the Secretary of State Tillerson is headed to that area to meet with his counterparts in China, Tokyo, and South Korea. Why do we need them, and what does he hope will come of this? Well,
the Chinese don't necessarily control North Korea, but they're really the only folks the North Korean regime will listen to. From a diplomatic standpoint, setting the military options aside, that's really our only hope. But at the same time, we have a lot of issues with China, and we've kind of rattled their cage, so to speak, between militarizing the South China Sea, ramping up its escalation with Japan, cyber attacks. I mean, we have a lot of issues to deal with the Chinese, and that's why we need more of an overarching strategy and what's our priority here. I understand the administration may be hosting, the president may be hosting Xi Jinping, the Chinese premier, at Mar-a-Lago next month
April, yes.
to try to get these
April
things
7th,
on the table.
I think. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So in terms of the Trump administration, what positive steps do you see them taking in terms of not allowing this to happen with North Korea?
Well, we're in the middle of deploying. The administration has moved forward with the deployment of the THAAD Terminal High Altitude Defense System. It's a missile defense system that's one of the best in our inventory. They're putting it in South Korea. It has an incredibly long range and could hit these missiles as they're coming off the launch pad. The Chinese are upset about it. The Russians are upset about it because it can reach into their territory as well. But you know what? We've been working with the Chinese since the Clinton administration to try to turn North Korea's missile program and nuclear program off, and it hasn't worked, so I'm glad to see us moving forward.
So I'm sorry.
No. The other thing I wanted to mention, though, was also, the leaks from Snowden, the CIA cyber hacking tools that were also just leaked. That represents an important middle ground to where we could have really delayed and attacked covertly this program. And now, these folks who think they're worried about privacy and other concerns have put all of our tools out on the table. And now, now we've lost that option, and now we essentially have the diplomatic option with the Chinese and the military option, which is really kind of scary.
Yeah, because we have the whole cyber warfare option, which is now out, versus knocking one physically out of the sky, and we don't know how Kim Jong-un is going to respond to that.
That's right. So the first time we launch one of our ballistic missile defenses and knock his missiles out, how is someone that unstable going to respond? He has enough artillery massed on the border that he could obliterate South Korea's capital of Seoul. And we just don't know with such an unstable regime. And that's why having these covert options was so important. And, whomever thinks that they're doing the world a favor by exposing them is actually endangering the world. They're not at all.
Colonel Waltz, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your insight.
Sure.